Let's talk about your money. Today, we're going to walk through a 30-day plan that could completely transform your relationship with it. You know that nagging stress that comes with feeling like you're not in control of your finances? Well, if that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. So let's just get real for a second. Do you feel like you're in the driver's seat with your money? Or does it feel more like, well, chaos? Do you actually know where your money is going? Or is there just this constant low level anxiety? If you're nodding along, don't worry. You are definitely not alone. The good news is there's a way to fix this, and it's surprisingly simple. We're about to break down a 30-day plan that only takes about, say, 10 to 15 minutes a day. And just to be super clear, this isn't about cutting out everything you love. It's about taking back control. So here's the game plan. We're going to start with a big financial cleanup, just to see where we stand. Then we'll build a budget that actually works for your life. After that, we'll get a strategy to tackle any debt. And finally, we get to the fun part, building wealth. You see how each week builds on the last? It's all about creating momentum. Think of this whole thing as a 4-week journey. It's a structured path designed to take you from that feeling of financial confusion to a place where you feel genuinely confident and in control. So, let's get started. As you can see, we've broken the plan into these 4 distinct weeks. We kick things off with awareness. Then we build a solid foundation. Week 3 is all about handling loans and cash flow. And then we shift our entire focus to wealth and your money mindset. It's all designed to be super manageable. All right, week 1. This week is all about one thing, awareness. It's time to clear out the clutter. You really can't fix what you can't see, right? So these first 7 days are about shining a big, bright light on your entire financial picture. And the great thing about this first week is how simple these actions are. Day 1, just list out your accounts. Day 2, you look at your last 30 days of spending. And the key here, no judgment. You're just being a detective. The rest of the week is about cutting out the noise, canceling subscriptions you forgot about, unsubscribing from those tempting sales emails, hunting down hidden fees, and beefing up your security. And then, on day 7, you rest. That's Okay, on to week 2. Now that we've cleared out all that clutter, we have the clarity we need to build a solid foundation. This is where things really start to change, because this is where we stop reacting to our money and start telling it exactly where to go. Now, the very first and honestly the most important step this week is defining what a rich life actually means to you. And I'm not talking about some far-off fantasy of private jets. I mean, what brings you value and joy today? Is it being able to travel twice a year? Is it that daily coffee from your favorite local spot? Get super specific about what you actually want your money to do for you. Once you have that personal vision, you build a budget that is specifically designed to make it happen. See, this totally flips the idea of a budget on its head. It stops being about restriction and it becomes a plan to fund the life you actually want to live. Your budget becomes your tool, not your cage. A really simple but powerful way to frame this is the 50-30-20 rule. The idea is that 50% of your income covers your absolute needs, rent, bills, that stuff. Then 20% is non-negotiable. That goes straight to your future goals, like savings and investments. And that leaves a full 30% for totally guilt-free spending on your wants, on joy, the things that make up your rich life. The final piece of the puzzle this week is creating habits to put your finances on autopilot. Instead of that constant low-level stress of thinking about money, you set one specific day and time each week to handle it all. This not only makes good behavior automatic, but it frees up an incredible amount of mental energy for the rest of your week. Now for week 3, we are going to tackle what is, for so many people, the single biggest source of financial stress out there, debt. This week is all about looking it right in the eye with a clear, actionable strategy. And the first step is just radical honesty. You've got to list out every single debt, from that big personal loan all the way down to that small amount you borrowed from a friend. Seeing it all in one place, just like this, might be a little scary, but it's the only way to get a true picture of the situation. Okay, so once you have your list, there are basically two ways to go. You can go for the mathematical win. That means you throw any extra cash at the loan with the highest interest rate. It'll save you the most money in the long run. Or you can go for the psychological win, where you pay off the smallest loans first to build that powerful feeling of momentum. And here's the thing. While the math says to tackle the high interest loan, there's a really strong case for knocking out the smallest ones first. Why? Because that feeling of progress, of actually closing an account and saying done, that feeling gives you the motivation you need to keep going and finish the whole journey. And that brings us to the final week. Your spending is organized. You've got a plan for your debt. So week 4 is all about shifting your focus from fixing the past to actively building your future. This is where it gets really exciting. So the starting line for building wealth is your safety net, your emergency fund, and that's 3 to 6 months of living expenses, just in case. Now, instead of letting that cash just sit in a savings account earning next to nothing, the idea here is to move it into something like a low-risk debt mutual fund. It's basically a type of investment that aims to get you better returns than a savings account while still keeping your money pretty safe and easy to access when you need it. Now for the really fun part, investing for growth. If you're in your 20s, time is your absolute biggest advantage. That means you can generally take on more risk for potentially much higher rewards. So a strategy like this suggests putting a good chunk of your investments into small and mid-cap funds. Those are funds that invest in smaller companies that have a lot of room to grow. Then, as you move into your 30s, things often change. Maybe you have a family, a mortgage, so the strategy shifts a bit towards stability. You can see the allocation to those riskier small cap funds goes down, while the portion in more stable large cap funds, which invest in big established companies, goes way up to 50%. And by the time you're in your 40s and beyond, the name of the game is often protecting what you've built. At this stage, the portfolio is heavily weighted towards those stable large cap funds, a full 70%, to preserve your capital while still allowing for some steady growth. But here's the thing. Building wealth isn't just about numbers in a spreadsheet. It's also about your mindset. The final part of this plan is about digging deep, identifying your limiting beliefs about money, creating a crystal clear vision for your future, and getting specific about how much money you actually need. And more importantly, why? Because when you know your target, you know when you've won the game. And all of this leads to the final and maybe the most powerful step in this entire 30-day plan. You're going to write a letter to the person you'll be in 5 years. You'll write down your hopes, your goals, and describe the life you're building right now. It's a pretty profound way to lock in your vision and your commitment to yourself. And that's it. That's the 30-day plan. It's a clear path from awareness to action, from debt to wealth. The only real question left is the one right there on the screen. In 5 years, who do you want that person to be? Because the journey to becoming them, well, that can start today.